my friends were asking me to help them understand some of the rule changes for 2025 involving travel for U.S. citizens. So I decided to do some research, maybe expand upon what I already knew, and also I wanted to give them the real websites for the governmental bodies, the agencies that were actually executing these changes. I learned there's some good information out there and some bad information out there. I'm going to be sharing with you today 3 truths that I think you should know regarding travel rules for U.S. citizens in 2025, and then 1 lie that's being shared. My name's Darlene with Plan, Pack, and Relax, and I help people do the best planning that they can possibly do before their trip so there are no surprises and they can have a great time. All right, so let's get started. So, truth number 1. If you're traveling to the UK, effective right now, you're going to need to apply for an electronic travel authorization. And you'll need to apply for it if you're going to be traveling to Scotland, England, Wales, or Northern Ireland. I will put the official link in the description below, as I will for all of these things, so you can go there to learn about it. And then in this case, you can get the app. There's a great app to apply for the ETA. I did it myself this morning. You'll just need your passport. I got my authorization in less than 30 minutes. So 1 tip, it will ask you if you have a chip on your passport. And I do, but I wasn't able to scan it. So I just went ahead and skipped that and went on, and it was absolutely fine. I was able to take the picture of myself on my own and so forth. So don't panic if your chip is not being read by the app. It cost about $12 and some change, which is 10 pounds. Super easy to do, no problem. And although mine just took 30 minutes, it does say it can take up to 7 days. So I wouldn't wait if you need to apply. I applied because I'm going to be going to Gibraltar, which is part of Britain. If you're taking any kind of trip to Europe and you're needing some help with packing, I will link after to my playlist on packing so that you can get any tips you may need. Truth number 2, you will need a real ID if you are a U.S. citizen over 18 years old who wants to be flying domestically in the United States starting in May. A real ID is basically a driver's license that requires a little bit more identification. You'll be able to tell if you have one because there should be a star or an outline of a star in the upper third of your driver's license. Check the link that I'm going to put in the description below for more information. So I applied for mine several years ago. It did require a little bit more documentation than I was used to, but I wouldn't wait to do it. It was easy to do. Get it done. If something happens and you don't have a real ID by the deadline and you need to fly, you can also use your passport or passport card. Truth number 3, you will need to apply for an ETIAS to travel to many parts of Europe starting sometime this year. The areas affected are what's called the Schengen area. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. But essentially, these are a group of countries who've gotten together in Europe to have borderless travel. So similar to the ETA, they're just wanting to make sure that they have a better handle on who's coming and going and when. I would click on the link below to see if the country you might be traveling to has an ETIAS requirement. Once you've applied and been accepted, application is good for 3 years or until your passport expires. And by the way, the ETA is good for 2 years, very similarly. So now for the lie. I was really surprised when I was doing research on something that I'd seen on YouTube and on some websites regarding new rules that were standardizing carry-ons for all airlines. I saw it regarding US airlines and I saw it regarding European airlines. That is not true. Now, there are guidelines and there are intentions and desires to try to standardize the size of carry-ons for all planes. But the fact is that right now, different airplanes are built differently and they don't necessarily all have the same storage. I will link to an article that was written by Condé Nast where they explain where this rumor might have started. But just be careful. I saw a lot of information out there that was basically saying this was true, and that now you could show up with luggage that was 22 by 14 by 9 and it would be accepted anywhere. And that is not true. As I was doing research for this, something that really freaked me out, I asked ChatGPT to validate some of the facts that I was finding, and I asked it some questions. And one of the things it brought up was wrong. And I said, "You're wrong." And it apologized. It said, "I'm sorry, I'm very sorry." And then it gave me the right information. So just be really careful when you're looking for stuff online. on YouTube, social media, anywhere, that you're being sure that it's correct. I would highly recommend validating it by finding the original website or the source that is in the new guidelines, rules, whatever it is. If you found this helpful, please give us a thumbs up, share, and of course, I'd love, love, love for you to subscribe so that you can get other great travel information that we share. Thanks and safe travels. Bye-bye.